Did you know that one of the most prolific and respected scholars of Islam was a woman who taught the greatest male scholars of her time? If that surprises you, you're not alone. For centuries, the incredible stories of female scholars in the Islamic tradition have been largely overlooked, hidden in the footnotes of history. But today, we're pulling back the curtain to reveal the pioneering minds you've probably never heard of, women who shaped Islamic thought, law, and spirituality. This isn't just about adding women to the narrative, it's about correcting the record and discovering a forgotten legacy of intellectual brilliance. So, get ready to meet the powerful women who were masters of their fields, revered teachers, and crucial links in the chain of Islamic knowledge. Let's start with perhaps the most influential female scholar in Islamic history, Aisha bint Abu Bakr. While many know her as the wife of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, her role as a scholar is often understated. After the Prophet's passing, Aisha became a primary source of his teachings, or Hadith. It's estimated that she narrated over 2,000 Hadiths, making her one of the top narrators of all time. But she wasn't just a narrator, she was a sharp legal mind. The most learned companions of the Prophet would consult her on complex matters of jurisprudence. They would come to her with their toughest questions, and she would provide answers with unmatched clarity and insight. Her home in Medina became the first major school of Islamic learning, where men and women alike came to study at her feet. She was known for her critical approach, often questioning and correcting the interpretations of other prominent companions. She wasn't afraid to challenge consensus if she believed it was based on a misunderstanding. This intellectual courage established her as a jurist of the highest caliber, and her rulings continue to influence Islamic law to this day. Her legacy is a powerful testament to the fact that from the very beginning, women were not just participants, but leaders in Islamic scholarship. Now, let's journey a few centuries forward to the golden age of Islam, a time of immense intellectual flourishing. In cities like Damascus, Baghdad, and Cairo, libraries and schools were bustling with activity. And within these centers of learning, we find countless women who dedicated their lives to scholarship. One such luminary was Amr bint Abd al-Rahman. She was a student of Aisha and became one of the foremost authorities on Hadith in her own right. The Caliph Umar ibn Abd al-Aziz, a famous ruler and reformer, held her knowledge in such high regard that he ordered his governors to write down all the hadiths narrated by her. This was a monumental act of preservation, and it shows the official state recognition of a woman's scholarly authority. Her knowledge was considered so reliable and essential that a ruler commanded it be documented for all future generations. Imagine the level of respect she must have commanded. Then there's the incredible Fatima al-Fihri. While not a scholar in the traditional sense of teaching and writing, her contribution to Islamic education is legendary. In the 9th century, in the city of Fez, Morocco, Fatima used her inherited wealth to found the Al-Qur'an Mosque and Madrasa. This institution would grow to become the oldest continuously operating, degree-granting university in the world, according to UNESCO. Think about that for a moment. The foundation of one of the world's most important historical centers of learning was laid by a woman. It was her vision, her funding, and her dedication that created a space where scholars, both male and female, would study for over a millennium. The university produced famous thinkers like the philosopher Ibn Khaldun and the Jewish scholar Maimonides. Fatima al-Fihri wasn't just building a building, she was building a legacy of knowledge, a beacon that would shine for centuries, all because of the foresight and piety of one woman. As we move into the medieval period, the tradition of female scholarship continued to thrive, often within families. It was common for fathers to teach their daughters alongside their sons. One of the most dazzling examples of this is Fatima al-Samarkandi. Living in the 12th century in Aleppo, Syria, she was the daughter of a renowned jurist. She mastered Islamic law, particularly the Hanafi school of thought, and became a brilliant scholar herself. She was so respected that her legal opinions, or fatwas, were highly sought after. In fact, she co-authored books with her father, and later, with her husband, who was also a famous scholar. The story goes that when her husband, Al-Kasani, was unsure about a complex legal ruling, he would consult her. Fatima would explain the correct reasoning, and he would accept her judgment. The fatwa was issued from their household would be signed by both her and her husband. She was a true intellectual partner, her scholarly authority recognized and valued by her male peers. Her signature on legal documents wasn't just a formality, it was a stamp of supreme legal authority. And she was far from an exception. A scholar named Ibn Asakir, who wrote a massive biographical dictionary of the scholars of Damascus, listed 80 female scholars from whom he personally studied. 80, and that was just one scholar in one city. Another famous scholar, the great Imam al-Suyuti, listed women among his most important teachers. The tradition was so established that there was a specific term for a female scholar, sheikha. These sheikhas would hold study circles in mosques and in their homes, and they would issue ijazas, which are formal licenses authorizing their students to teach and transmit a specific text or sabu. CT. Receiving an ijaza from a renowned sheikha was a mark of high distinction for any student, male or female. One of the most remarkable figures from a later period is Nana Asma'u of the Sokoto Caliphate in what is now modern-day Nigeria. A 19th century princess, poet, and scholar, she was fluent in 4 languages and was a prolific writer. But her most significant contribution was her commitment to female education. Nana Asma'u created a system of female teachers, called judges, who traveled throughout the caliphate to educate women in rural areas. These judges would teach a curriculum that Nana Asma'u herself had developed, using her poetry and writings to make complex theological and legal concepts accessible to everyone. She created a mass literacy movement for women that was revolutionary for its time. Her work empowered thousands of women, giving them the tools of knowledge and making them active participants in their society and faith. She is a powerful example of how female scholarship wasn't confined to elite circles in major cities, but was a dynamic force for social change across the Muslim world. So why have we forgotten these incredible women? There are several reasons. Over time, as societies became more patriarchal, the contributions of women were often minimized or written out of the historical record. Many historical texts were written by men, who naturally focused on the achievements of other men. Furthermore, much of women's teaching occurred in more private settings, like their homes, which were less likely to be recorded in official chronicles compared to the grand lectures happening in public mosques. But the evidence is there, tucked away in biographical dictionaries, in the chains of narration for hadiths, and in the footnotes of legal texts. You just have to know where to look. And covering this history is vital. It shatters the misconception that Islamic tradition is inherently oppressive to women. It shows us that for much of history, knowledge was a pursuit open to all, and a woman's intellect was something to be celebrated, not suppressed. These women were not rebels fighting against their faith. They were devout believers whose deep faith propelled them to seek and share knowledge. They saw the pursuit of learning as an act of worship. Their stories provide powerful role models for young Muslim women and men today, showing that a commitment to faith and a passion for intellectual inquiry can go hand in hand. They remind us that the Islamic tradition is far richer and more diverse than we are often led to believe. The legacy of Aisha, Fatima al-Fihri, Fatima al-Samarkandi, and Nana Asma'u is a call to action. It urges us to keep digging, to keep asking questions, and to restore the brilliant women of our past to their rightful place in our history. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into a forgotten history. If you found this story as inspiring as I do, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more hidden stories from our past. Let me know in the comments which of these scholars inspired you the most. See you next time.